Good morning, all TJF. I hope you had a wonderful week thus far. Um, this week is actually one of my favorites. I love the discussion board for this week. I love the fact that you guys are exploring and you're getting excited about your path here at Full Sail. It's really rewarding to me as your educator, as your mentor this week, to see that happen, to see that unfold, and I get a chance to read over your plans and your hopes and your dreams and your desires. So when Full Sail University says we take your dreams seriously, it's meant. It's meant. Of course, we hope that it's met in the middle by you taking your dreams seriously. So everything that Full Sail, this university encompass, I radiates in the atmosphere, and we hope that that radiation and that passion, that enthusiasm, spills over into your heart and makes you see that you're capable of things that you may or may not realize. And by the end of this month, I hope that you are at the point where, wow, I am so ready. I am so ready for the rest of my journey here. I'm so ready to take advantage of everything that is set out in front of me, and I'm so ready to be the person that I want to be. So as a review, before I go into any of the stuff to talk about today, is I am enjoying myself. I'm enjoying watching the emotional storytelling. I believe that this discussion board in particular, just, it allows you to find your why. And why I say that is you're speaking from the heart. You're admiring a piece of art that had some connection to what you're currently doing, whether you are conscious or not of it. It makes you kind of reflect on your choices and what the decisions you made to be on your current path, whether it is a movie, a character in a movie that inspired you, a video game that had some emotional attachments with family members, um, the the transpiring of wanting to create stories and characters that made you feel like you weren't alone in part of the story. So they have been fantastic. What I would like to see from now until Sunday, when this discussion mode closes, is that you interact with each other and you take the time to view what makes your peers tick, because you may find a partner down the line. You may find that you can build a relationship with someone that creates things far beyond you ever thought you could create, and you could do that together. Not just, and I'm not talking one single person, I'm talking several, and start thinking in ways that you can collaborate and make your idea even bigger. So what I would like to see in your responses is, of course, using your influence from the HAIL method. You guys were introduced to Julian Trusher, and he gave us the HAIL method: honesty, authenticity, integrity, and love. And it has to do with what we discussed in Monday night session. your personal brand and having that transparency, allowing yourself to be vulnerable in order to connect with your potential audience, whether it is going to be an investor, or it's going to be fans, or it's going to be clients. Um, it, it's a way to connect with your audience. So being transparent allows you to build that credibility and trust. You are coming across very authentic, and it's easier to trust you, and relationships are built on trust. Uh, so what I want to see in your responses is that you're commenting on that ability of your peers by watching their story, the tone of their voice, uh, their connection to the piece. Are they painting a picture? Um, how is their delivery? Because of course there's a method to my madness, and there's always a purpose for everything that we do. So I do not lie talking about transparency. I put it all out there and let you know that each week builds off each other. So all these activities are set in place to make you realize and become aware when you start building your presentation that in fact you do have these abilities and you do have these skills. Do you guys have any questions on the discussion board itself? Uh-oh, can you guys still hear me? Okay, Brandon, you do. Let me open your mic. Good morning, Brandon. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am well. What can I do for you?
What was going on? My apologies. What was the question? Oh,
Uh,
if I had any questions. Um, any questions? Um,
on the
as of,
discussion board.
on the discussion board. As of right now, I do not.
Okay, okay. I took your I do as you
Oh,
had a question, so I wanted to make sure I addressed it.
yeah, of course. Yeah, no, I took a moment to think about it to make sure I didn't, and yeah, no, I don't. So,
Okay, no worries. If something comes up, of course, I'm going to open up for questions throughout.
of course, of course.
Cool. Well, it was nice to hear your voice, Brandon.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's the discussion board. Now, as far as your plans, in my eyes, the plans are so important because it is my chance to guide you as your mentor. So, as your mentor, I spoke about this on Monday night. This guy, Simon Sinek, I just fell in love with his methods and the fact that he uses something called the golden circle. And the golden circle, of course, it pertains to marketing and how genius companies are with marketing if they follow this kind of formula, and he breaks down the different ways in comparison to those that are successful and those that are not so successful. So I use this method in breaking down your plans and giving you guidance on what you should be looking for, what you should be focusing on, and it really is your opportunity to give all. So On Monday night, we discussed how the plans are a controlled chaos, meaning that there is no big or small idea. There is no ideas that are unimportant. Everything is important at this point. And quantity definitely counts because it gives me a way to make a comparison between maybe 2 or 3 different ideas that you have. And it allows me to guide you in the path that is the strongest, or I feel as an observer, the strongest path that you could take for this particular assignment. Does that make sense? Sweet. Okay. I didn't get a chance to do this on Monday night because we had such a great conversation about personal branding and what we can do. The brand promise is something that I love to just give you food for thought on what a brand promise is. So a promise or a brand promise is basically stating your why and giving your guarantee. So in any situation, your audience, no matter who they are, if they're investors, if they're clients, if they're fans, if they're another creative, they want to know ultimately, what are you going to do for me? I know it sounds very selfish, but it's always that question. What's in it for me? I'm going to give you my time and my energy and in some cases my money. So what's in it for me? And giving that guarantee, and it really doesn't have to be monetarial. It could be advice. It could be friendship. It could be a relationship. It could be guidance. It could be so many different things, but make that clear. So, as an extra activity or something, an exercise that you can do for yourself, I would love it if you explored your brand promise, because this is a great way to open up your presentations. So I'll give you an example. You want to identify who you are. So in my case, of course, I'm an educator. I'm an educator, 150%. I'm an educator. So my promise would go like this. Come to me with an open mind, and I will fill it with perspective. So I'll say that again. Come to me with an open mind, and I will fill it with perspective. Now, and of course you could be honest, completely honest. Is that clear? Have I given a clear direction of who I am and what I intend to give? Okay. So, is it understood, or is your wheels turning on what statement you can make in order to give your audience that invitation, that guarantee? So what I want you to think about is who you are, what you intend to give, and think about that according to your brand and according to what you want to represent and the perception that you want your audience to view you as. Cool? Okay, so just to run down the way that I give you guys feedback, because I want you to understand how I view your plans. So I'm going to view your plans in 3 stages, and I use the golden circle as my guide. So if you wanted to a more understanding of the golden circle, I gave you guys the link to Simon Sinek's TED Talk, and he really is brilliant. He goes beyond that and has several different talks. He's written books. He is a brilliant mind. So I break it down in the why, the how, and the what. And the why is what I really described. It is the reasoning. It's the reasoning of why you do what you do, and it's your guarantee. So it's who you are. Why are you doing this? And why should your audience care? I know that sounds very harsh, but you want your audience to care, to pay attention, to follow your direction, and ultimately make a decision on you by the end of the presentation. And how do you what's the word I'm looking for? How do you guarantee that will happen throughout the presentation? Well, that's your middle. So the why is what is. It's who you are and what you guarantee. The how is what could be or what has transpired to be. And that is your qualifications. And your qualifications have to do with, one, at this point, it's everything you've done up until this point, no matter how small it is. So you may have written a short story for the literary magazine in your high school. You may have videotaped a football game at your high school. You may have been a part of the marching band. You may have been in drama and played Macbeth on stage. All of these things are examples that you can share that show your proactivity. It shows that at a very early stage in your development, you sought out these things, and your proactivity shows what you are capable of. Does that make sense so far? So understand that at this moment in time, and even when you get past this and go further into your journey, these small things, these small victories still have so much meaning. So don't forget that. Don't forget where you came from in order to get where you're going. So get rid of all reservations that you're not qualified and you're at the beginning of stages of your program. The next thing that you need to focus on is your path here at Full Sail. And I gave the example on Monday night where I was going for my MFA. I found out, to make a long story short, I found out in month 8 I was going to take a class called Writers for Games, and I'm a Twitter person, and I follow several companies in different industries, but this one in particular is a gaming company called Telltale Games. If you're familiar, Telltale is a very unique company, and the play is very unique, and I absolutely love it. It's kind of like choose your own adventure, and things happen serendipitously. Cannot talk. Serendipitously throughout the gameplay based on your choices. So, at the same time, the universe opened up. The same time, understanding what I was going to do in month 8, I was actually going to write the first chapter of a game and write a mini Bible for a game, Telltale Games tweets out that they are looking for a writer. Well, of course, I'm at the beginning stages of my degree. I could not even fathom going for a position like that. But what it did for me was excite me, because then I read the qualifications of what it entails to go for a position as a writer, and then I read what I was going to do in month 8, and they matched. And I could not believe it, and it gave me inspiration, it gave me motivation. It, for the first time after I have had a revelation with The Last of Us, it gave me a place in the industry that I never thought that I would have a place in. And that, my friends, is what I want for you. I want you to go on www.fullsail.edu and look up your degree and understand your path. Understand the skills that you are going to obtain here, and be excited that you are going to take advantage of every little bit of that information and knowledge. And you could speak with confidence that you will have these skills. Cool? Cool. Okay. And then you come to the end of your presentation, and this is all encompassing. So now is your chance that you laid all this information out on the table. Now it's time for your call to action. It's time for, okay, I've given you what I want and how I'm going to do it. Now, what are you going to do for me? What's your decision? Are you, this is what I want to give to you. What are you going to give to me? So what is it that you ultimately want to accomplish in this field? I am your next graphic designer. I am your next audio engineer. Fill in the blank there. So you're repeating your why, and then you're asking them to make a decision on you. Does that make sense? Cool. Okay, so there were several different ways that you can choose your path. So the first one I mentioned in Monday night as being the most direct way. And what I mean by that, it's not saying that this is the easiest way. It's the most direct because it coincides with the instructions. So the instructions are going to ask that you speak as if you're a graduate from Full Sail University, and that's where knowing your path and knowing your skills comes in. But your audience is the company. It's the CEO. It is a specific department. It is you're researching a desired company that you love to work for someday. Now, my advice to you, especially that this is kind of a practice run. It's showing you your capabilities and giving you practice on when this comes up. Kyle, yes, this is 2.4. My suggestion is focusing on one company. And I know that's very hard at this point, but for the purpose of giving your presentation a direction and addressing that love letter, not to whom it may concern, but an actual person, it's important that you choose one. You are going to be speaking to their brand, what their philosophies are, and looking up a desired position that you would like within the company and speak to those qualifications and how you can fit the bill. Cool? Awesome. A join me situation has two different aspects that you could go with. One is you have a cause. You have a cause in mind, whether it is to build a music festival for a charity or make a movement. And the other is that you need a team of creatives to make a project happen. Yeah, she is my hero. Lara is my hero. I love her. And Tomb Raider is such a stunning game. Love it. Love it. And I also love her counterpart, as I say. Uncharted is another series that I'm just in love with. So, of course, they're opposing game companies, but I still love Lara and I still love Nathan. So the join me situation is a little bit different. It's a little bit different in the ways of delivery and pitch. It's more than an education. So you're not just informing an audience, you are calling them into action. You want them to rally and make an action towards this cause. You want them to follow you so they could in turn be leaders in their community and make this happen, make this even bigger, maybe even global. Does that make sense? Sweet. And then the last one is the buy me situation. This is when your audience is the investors. So I make the joke that unless you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth, we all don't have the capital to build our own record studio or production company or graphic design business. We need capital in order to do this. So if you think in the mindset of Shark Tank, when these poor souls are presenting their life work to these sharks in order to have help building their empire, that is the situation that you're going to. I feel, and I don't mean to scare you on this, but I feel that this is the most challenging because here it's money involved, it's higher risk, and they want to definitely know, why should I open up my wallet to you? Why should I write a check? What's in it for me? What is going to be my return on this investment? So it's set up like more like a pitch. And I will be sharing with you a link to a slide deck that I created in a program called Haiku, and it gives you a breakdown of how a pitch transpires and what are the things that you should incorporate in a pitch. Okay, do you guys have any questions on 2.4? Any ideas that you want to run by me while you're in session? Okay, Kyle, I'll be looking for that email. Definitely, I will definitely be looking for that email. Please understand that I leave around 4 p.m. today. I will say that I check my emails first thing in the morning, but that's it. After that, the weekends I don't have instructors don't have office hours on the weekend. And yes, Central, where are you again, Kyle? Oklahoma. I think it might be 2 p.m. Oh, I'm an hour ahead. Okay, so 3 is, yes, 3 Central Time. Okay, Philip says, I know this is planning, but does it have to be a slide? No, Philip, it doesn't have to be slides. That is an option for you if you like to deliver that way. By all means, use that type of program. However, you're not building your presentations until week 3. Anthony will send me an email also. Awesome. And not necessarily. The final project does not necessarily have to be a video. However, an audio component is required for both the rough draft and the final presentation. It is the nature of presentations that there's an oral communication component. So just like you guys did for your emotional storytelling, you are going to narrate your presentation as if you were in front of this audience. Cool? Carlos, I'm unclear. So it's just like a draft for this week. It's the plans. So your plans are just that. It's mapping out what you are going to do and giving me the opportunity to look it over and give you some direction. So you're giving me all your ideas and how you're going to illustrate this to the audience. So my suggestion is to look over some of the examples that I shared with you guys on Tuesday. They're all different. So remember that this class doesn't require any one program. It has to do with accessibility. And what you have access to. So go ahead and check those out because it might give you a visual and ideas about what you can do. David, yes, for the rough draft and audio narration is good. However, I don't want you guys thinking about the rough draft yet. You need to get through this stage and do your plans and allow me to give you feedback. So I'm going to what's the word I'm looking for? I'm going to expect that you're reading over my feedback and you're applying that into building your presentation. Make sense? And Kyle, it's more than a word script. A word script is going to be more along the lines of what you want to do for your rough draft. The plans, as I said, is a breakdown of your story arc. So it's kind of giving me your plan for how are you going to open up your presentation? Do you have several ideas? How are you going to illustrate your qualifications? Do you have a message? Do you have a purpose? Is this clear? So all of those things. Are you going to use video? Are you going to use images? What are they? So don't be afraid to incorporate that as well. Remember that, and I share this example while explaining this. So when CRP first started happening, our lectures were 4 hours. 3 days a week, our lectures were 4 hours. So it gave us ample opportunity to do a lot of activities on campus. One of the activities was in week 1, we gave our class a topic, and we put them in groups, and we gave them a topic, and we're like, okay, we want you to plan for hypothetical reasons. We want you to plan out how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, just hypothetically. So they created these plans, and we're like, you keep these aside, they'll come back around. In week 3, we asked the groups to get back together and exchange their plans with another group. So within, I'm not kidding you, less than a minute, I had a line, I don't know how far back, at my desk. And majority of it was, what do I do with this? Do I incorporate pictures? How do I begin? How do I do this? Do I ask questions? Do I do this? And my answer was, well, what does the plan say? What does the plan say? And they were so frustrated because there was no detail. So the other groups could not build a presentation based on the plans that were given to them because there was nothing there. There was only a few ideas and no detail, so no one could build anything off it. So you need to understand that what I need is information. Would I be able to build your presentation based on the information that you gave me? Okay, Kyle, what exactly is your frustration? I want to help you. I don't want this to be frustrating. I want this to be fun. Okay. First things first, Kyle. And I know that it is the beginning of your journey here. So the first thing you need to understand is what you want to get out of this journey. What is it that is an aspiration or dream of yours? And it doesn't have to be something that is going to be carved out in stone and thrown at you at graduation. I promise. It's going to change, and it's supposed to change. It's supposed to evolve as you go on and build up these skills. What I want you guys to do is practice on something that you desire to do. And don't be afraid to go for something you think is beyond you at this point. You have nothing to lose. Kyle, I don't want you to stress over the rough draft. That is what week 3 is for. Week 2 is the plan. There's no audio that is required for the plan. If you go to your announcements and you go to week 2 breakdown, that will give you examples of past plans, and it's several different ways that you could do it. to give you kind of like an array of ways that you could approach this assignment. No, there was 2.3 example on the discussion board, but part of the announcement, those examples that I listed are for the plans. And no worries. Let me go to the platform for a second, and I'll show you exactly where to find those. So if you go to the platform and you see on the left-hand side, it says announcements. There's several different things on the left-hand side. Now, it's a little different for me, so don't pay attention to that, but you have a tab called announcements. If you click on that, it's going to give you a listing of all the announcements that I posted throughout the month. And you could go down to week 2 breakdown. Okay, so yes, we have emotional storytelling, and this is pretty much a video explaining what it is. And then you have planning examples right underneath. And there's 4 of them that you could check out and kind of give you several different ways that you could go about this assignment. Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate that. No worries. No worries. It's an easy overlook. Maybe I should highlight this and make it bold. No worries. All right. So cool. Thank you guys. As always, thank you so much for sharing this Friday morning with me. I love the company. I love doing these sessions because it really is a great way for us to connect with each other before the weekend, just to give you more confidence that you can do this. And trust me, you can do this, my friends. You can. I want you to let go of all the reservations about rambling or giving me too much information. You can't give me too much information. You need to give me more information than you think you need to give me. It allows me to help you and give you a direction of where to go. So hopefully those examples will give you some food for thought and give you a visual of what you can do for this assignment. And I look forward to them. So as we close out, don't forget to go back into the discussion board for 2.3 and comment on at least 2 of your classmates' posts. But no, if you are shooting for that A+, you need to go beyond the minimum requirement of any of the assignments. If you are shooting for above meeting the requirements, then you need to go above and beyond. Cool? I'm so excited that you guys find this helpful. It's my pleasure, and that makes me even more happy, and I get to go into the weekend smiling. So thank you for that. I appreciate the kind words. Just to close it out, last night we had a special session. There were some people that I recognized, so some people from our sections came last night, and I will be also sharing that link, and you'll know the difference because I'll make sure that I title them both. But it really is, it was a great session. He talks a lot about personal branding, and he's been in the industry for over 20 years. So the man definitely knows what he's talking about. He has been a chameleon in the industry, meaning that things have evolved and changed. So hopefully that'll give you guys a little bit more confidence, as you know, you are not pigeonholed in one direction of your life. Understand that the more that you encounter, the more relationships you meet, the more awareness of your capabilities, you will evolve and things will change, and your interests are going to grow, and be excited for that. Well, again, thank you guys for spending the morning with me, and uh, again, if you have any questions, you know where to find me. So message me, email me, text me, whatever you need to do. And enjoy the weekend. Hopefully you'll get everything done by Saturday night, and Sunday could be yours. So enjoy it. I'll be here if you need me. Have a great day.